I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 4th, 2015. A 20-year-old border police officer was seriously wounded today when he was intentionally struck with a car by a Palestinian. The car ramming attack took place on Route 60 in the West Bank at the Khalkhul Junction near Hebron. The victim was taken to Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem in critical condition. The terrorist was shot and killed at the scene by Israeli security forces. Meanwhile, Israel police are easing some conditions in Jerusalem. Roadblocks that were put into place in neighborhoods in East Jerusalem will be reportedly taken down or eased. Police said this decision was made following the, quote, achievement of a certain amount of stability in the security situation in Jerusalem. The roadblocks and other measures followed a spate of stabbing attacks and attempted stabbing attacks, with most of the attackers coming from East Jerusalem. Police, however, warned that any change or escalation in the security situation in the city would force it to employ, quote, all available measures against terror perpetrators and those who break the law. The U.S. House of Representatives unanimously passed a resolution yesterday urging the U.S. and European governments to take vital steps in the battle against anti-Semitism. The legislation was introduced by U.S. Representative Chris Smith, who co-chairs the bipartisan task force for combating anti-Semitism. Smith referred to attacks earlier this year in Paris and Copenhagen and said it was imperative to work with governments in Europe to keep Jewish communities safe. Jewish organizations praised the bill's unanimous passage. The Jewish Federations of North America's Senior Vice President for Public Policy and Director of the Washington office, William Daroff, said the resolution provides a needed framework for how the U.S. government and Jewish community security groups, like the Secure Community Network, can work with their European counterparts to combat increasing anti-Semitic attacks in Europe. American Jewish Committee Executive Director David Harris said the initiative would help to confront the rising phenomenon. Harris said anti-Semitism is a cancer that, left unchecked, will metastasize and threaten to destroy the democratic and pluralistic nature of Europe. And Jewish organizations welcomed the implementation of a new compensation program for Holocaust survivors. The compensation was negotiated between the French and U.S. governments last year, making $60 million in French government funds available for distribution by the United States to victims or their children who were taken from France to Nazi concentration camps by SNCF, France's national railway company, who transferred more than 70,000 Jews to the camps. The U.S. State Department is now open to receiving claims. B'nai B'rith International said it was a part of the continued process of providing a small measure of justice to those who suffered through the Holocaust. Associate Director of the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism, Barbara Weinstein, said more than 70 years after the end of the Shoah, this fund reflects the fact that nations continue to have a responsibility to those who suffered under the Nazi regime. CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, said no amount of money could ever make up for the horrific injustice done to these victims and their families, but agreements like this provide some modest redress, an acknowledgement of their pain. And leaders of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, Chairman Stephen Greenberg and Executive Vice Chairman Malcolm Hoenlein, said we believe that this recognition of responsibility of SNCF, along with others in France who collaborated in the deportation of the French Jews, is a significant statement. They also noted that the action taken was based on the Holocaust Rail Justice Act that was introduced by Senator Charles Schumer, along with many co-sponsors. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry restated his hopes for resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict today, November the 4th, on the anniversary of the assassination of Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Kerry issued a statement today saying that Rabin was remembered for defending Israel and for his contribution to the cause of peace. Kerry said of the slain leader, he dared to take risks for peace because he knew well the alternative and believed it was essential for the future security and prosperity of Israel and of the region. Kerry said Rabin's legacy, quote, compels us to keep trying. And on this 20th anniversary of Rabin's assassination, JBS has special programming to mark the tragedy and honor Rabin's memory. At 7 tonight, Dr. Hillel Ben-Sasson of the Hebrew University looks at the achievements made by Rabin and where things stand today. And then at 8 o'clock, Ben-Sasson is joined by the Shalom Hartman Institute of North America's Yehuda Kurtzer to discuss reviving the peace process. Also with Libby Lenkinski of the New Israel Fund and former Knesset member Don Meridor. Both are programs of the Shalom Hartman Institute and the New Israel Fund from the JCC of Manhattan. Then at 9, Israeli author and journalist Yossi Klein Halevi joins Mark Golub on L'chaim, and at 10, the U.S.-Israel future is discussed by Rabin's daughter, Dalia Rabin, with Middle East expert Aaron David Miller and Ethan Bronner from the 92nd Street Y. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, excerpts of a 1981 interview with Yitzhak Rabin on his role as Chief of Staff during the 1967 Six-Day War, part of a tribute to the slain leader. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 4th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.